Hello there. In this video, I'm talking about how to have intimacy with your man without having sex. Hello, I'm Nicki Vee from the 1010 movement, and here at the 1010 movement, my husband and I, Tony Vee, we are here to help you in any area of your life. So, how to have intimacy with your man without having sex. So let me start off by explaining what I believe to be the problem sometimes for couples when they want to have intimacy, but the sexual part of their relationship is not working as well as they would like. What does that mean? It basically feels mechanical, maybe. Maybe things in terms of sex are happening that one of the partners is not comfortable with. It might feel detached. It might feel as if sex is just a functional thing for going from stressed or frustrated to having an orgasm and going to sleep. Okay, so now I know that's quite a sort of harsh way of talking about it, but the only reason why I thought it was valuable to make this video is to explain that in order to have beautiful intimacy in your life with your life partner, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have sex. This could apply because that's difficult or a problem or whatever, but it could also apply if sex is not working well. It might be good to work on how to be intimate with your man rather than us talk about how to have sex. So what do I mean by that? Let me just get really, really clear for you as to what I mean by that. So often people say, how do we solve our sex problems? Okay. And all I'm sharing with you today is you can have intimacy without having sex. You can have beautiful, wonderful intimacy with your man without having sex. And then if you are having sex, it will be of a healthier, more loving, more intimate nature rather than functional. You get what I mean by that? So how do we have more intimacy? Well, in some other videos, I've talked quite a lot about the stresses and strains of life, meaning that intimacy is the first thing to be affected. And when I say intimacy without sex, I'm talking about the intimate connection you have with your partner is often, well, you know, Tony and I have noticed this is probably the first thing that goes. As soon as you've got stress in your life, the first thing that goes is intimacy, because it's one of the natural needs of men and women. But I'm talking here particularly to how to have this intimacy with your man. Of course, if you're in a same-sex relationship, that's slightly different, but with a heterosexual relationship, as a woman, you've probably this is the most common thing, so let me ask you really, what have you let get in the way? What have you made more important than being in intimate connection with your man? What have you let get in the way? Is it the kids? Is it your job? Is it whatever it is? I mean, I can give you some examples, but think about it for a minute. Let's rush this. What have I let get in the way? And can I now see, is Nicki Vee right, that I can see that the first thing that was affected was me putting a lot of focus on something else. Now, if you're a new mom, you're going to go, come on, Nicki Vee, what do you expect? I'm feeding, I'm like doing all these things. What do you expect? Well, here's the problem. If we do just go, what do you expect? Then that intimacy between us and our man is just going to deteriorate and deteriorate and deteriorate. And it saddens me to tell you how many couples that we've worked with who have gone to the point of divorce, separation, other people have been, started to have other partners, other interests, where intimacy between them has just deteriorated to such a low ebb that the relationship is finished. If you're watching this video today and you have any doubts and you're watching it because you're saying, look, I want to have more intimacy, but not necessarily more sex, then I believe this is the right thing for you to think about. The first and right thing for you to think about is, what have I put all my focus on? And have I put all my focus on that and tried to do everything else in my life? By the way, typically of women is we just try and we want to try and make everybody happy, do everything, including some of our needs, like maybe we want to achieve things, or we want to experience new things. We've let something get very, very much in the way, or a multitude of things. So once you've realized that, now you go, okay, so here's the problem, is when we do all that, we get so focused on it that we don't have the feelings in we don't remember that how much we like to have those intimacy moments with our partner. We kind of start to live without it. And the problem is then the relationship is affected so dramatically because we've forgotten we need it, therefore we don't put any attention to that, therefore we move further and further away. And men will sometimes be doing the same thing, and we kind of think, well, he doesn't seem that bothered, even if I do miss it. Like, I miss cuddles, or I miss intimate moments, or I miss doing the things that we like doing together. He doesn't seem to mind, and that might be true because men are slightly different. How to have more intimacy with your man without having sex, title of the video, is to remember that men don't have such a strong need for intimacy without sex as women do. We have a desire, an innate part of us desires connection with a member of the opposite sex. It's there, it's within us, we can't help it. And therefore our brains, our logical brains tell us we can do without it. And then we have this huge gap in our life. And often what we do as women is we go to our friendships or our family to get that feeling of connection. But of course, it isn't the same as with an intimate partner. So first of all, we have to realize what we're doing. I know if you've seen my videos before, you'll know there's a pattern here. We have to realize what we're doing. We can't just, if I was to say to you, well, here, do this, do that, do the other, then we're just going to doing things to try and have more intimacy with our man without having sex, instead of recognizing how we've got to where we are. I just wouldn't be being honest with you if I wasn't sharing with you. We have to understand how we've got ourselves to this place first, without beating ourselves up, by the way. No beating ourselves up as women. We must not do that. We must realise that we've got ourselves to this space, we've put our attention places, we've not put focus on those intimate moments in the way. We've perhaps got into arguing, we've perhaps got into going, oh, do you know what, he goes to the pub, or he goes to the sport, or he watches the television, and quite honestly, I'm exhausted, but I really want that feeling back. I want that intimacy with my man, not so much about having sex, but I want that intimate feeling. So it sounds like a obvious thing to say, but if we want that, we have to make time for it. If you've watched other videos, you'll almost say, you could almost remember as well that one of my absolutely massive things to do is to talk to your intimate partner and to say that you realise that you have been putting your focus elsewhere. You've been making yourself too tired to put focus on your intimacy. And then to share with him, or to ask him. So share with him that you want to have more intimate time with him. Explain to him, this is not about the physical, this is, I just want more intimate time with you. And ask him what that would look like for him. Now, you might go, oh, but isn't it Nicki Vee that I'm supposed to tell him what I want? I've gone all these years without really telling him what I want. You can, but for me, that can sound like demanding. And if you have been the causation with him, of course, it takes two to tango, it takes two to get this disconnection going. If you now start demanding things of him, like intimate time, like intimate conversations, right, which is the nub of intimacy with a man without having sex, you'll find that he will feel blamed. He will feel like you're demanding of something. So the best thing to do is ask him what that would look like for him and not be demanding. Say, I want to have more intimate time with you, or I want to have more close conversations with you. Please, could you do that? Could you decide what that would look like? Could you decide when, where, how, please? And there's a phrase which, you know, if you've got a pen and paper anywhere near, I'd love you to write down, because it's so important in this part of our lives. And that is the phrase, I'd love it if, ... So I'd love it if we could have more time together. Then, what I call STFU, shut the fuck up, because if you go, I'd love to have more time together, so could we do Thursday evenings, could we go here, could we have a weekend away, could we, you know, like now you're telling him how to be closer to you and more intimate with you, right? Whereas actually, if you ask, I'd love it if we could have more private time, we could have more closeness, we could have a space within our house where there's just you and me. Well, I'd love it if we could get some time away together. I would love it if. Whatever you want, you just say, I would love it if, and then leave him. I could go on forever, but I'm telling you one thing that I'm absolutely certain about. Man wants to decide for himself how to have time with you. He doesn't want to be told that feels more like mothering. You know, honey, we haven't seemed to have spent much time together. I realise I've been focusing my time on the kids or my business or whatever it is, and I'd like us to have more intimacy. I'm not talking about sex. I'm just talking about more intimate time together. And so I've booked us to go somewhere, or I'd like you to do this, or I'd like you to do that. He's just going to think that's like mothering, either mothering, or he's going to think that is like telling him what to do. You've organised it all. He's going like, oh God, do I have to? Whereas actually if you go, I'd love it if we could get some time away, and then just and wait and see what he says. Now, Rome was not built in a day. So if you say, I'd love it if, and then he doesn't say, great, that's good, I feel the same, right? Because don't forget, before you say I'd love it if, you need to say, look, I realise I've been, you know, not giving you a lot of attention and blah, 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 or whatever. I've been focusing on X, Y, Z. I'd love it if we could have some more, you know, private time together. And then if he goes, well, so would I, but like I'm absolutely rushed off my feet as well and blah, 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 just say, I understand. Don't start going, well, hold on a minute, I've just come towards you to try and like get us more intimacy with you and blah, blah, blah. Just go, I understand. And then just leave him to think about it. Now, this is where women say to me, well, how often, when do I go back? Do I do this? Do I do that? No, hold on. That's all I'm suggesting you do, is that you just, two things. I realise that. So you've got to start it off with I realise that. And then you've got to say what you'd love if. And then leave him. And have a high expectation that because this is different than conversations you've had or lack of conversations you've had, that some magic and miracles, some intimate part of you and him will connect. I know this is out there thinking, but some intimate part of you that used to be very connected, like you were an us, was you and him against the world, okay, can come back together if you give it time. So trust you found that useful, valuable, poignant, important. And if that's been really valuable to you, if you're new to this channel, Do please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so we can tell you about our other videos that are coming out. If you've been with us before, up here in this top corner here will be another video around this same kind of subject. Maybe about intimacy, maybe about intimate relationships, so that this will be the best video for you to watch next. If you just want to look at the whole of your life and you want to know how successful you are in other areas of your life, do watch this video down here, which will lead you towards our life test. So until next time, have a wonderful time full of intimacy. Bye-bye.